My dear friend, what if I told you that the very spice sitting quietly in your kitchen could be silently disturbing your blood pressure, stiffening your joints, and stealing your sleep? I'm Dr. Arjun Mehra, and after decades of working with elders across India, I've seen this tiny habit, often believed to be harmless, quietly create big problems. That spice is ajwain or karam seeds. For generations, we've added it to parathas, namak para, or chai, thinking it only adds flavor. But science now shows, after 60, our bodies change in powerful but silent ways. Digestion slows, joints ache, sleep becomes lighter, and memory feels less sharp. One hidden reason: low-grade inflammation, a quiet internal fire that touches your heart, brain, and energy. In Ayurveda, spices like ajwain were gentle healers, not harsh drugs, but daily companions that balance the body. Modern research agrees. Certain spices calm inflammation, improve blood flow, regulate hormones, boost serotonin for better mood and sleep, and even help control blood sugar. But here's the truth. Whether this spice heals you or harms you depends entirely on how, when, and how much you use it. And that's exactly what I'll reveal today, so you can keep the comfort of tradition without paying the hidden price. If you want, I can now write the full continuation from this intro into a complete, emotionally engaging 7 to 8 minute YouTube script following this same style. That would let you use it directly for your video. If you've ever woken up in the morning and felt like your knees were wrapped in invisible bands, if you've had to hold the side of the bed before standing up, or if your fingers needed a little warming up before you could make your morning chai, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. This is not just a random ache. It's the quiet, slow work of age-related inflammation, a natural process where the soft tissues around our joints begin to swell slightly and lose some of their flexibility. It doesn't happen overnight, and it's not usually sharp, stabbing pain. Instead, it's that constant dull heaviness, the stiffness that makes mornings feel like a slow negotiation between your body and your will. Now here's where our humble friend, ajwain, comes into the picture. These tiny seeds, often hiding in a jar at the back of your spice rack, contain a natural compound called thymol. Thymol works like a gentle, patient firefighter, calming down the low-grade swelling around your joints and improving blood flow so tissues can move more freely. Unlike painkillers, which just mask the pain, ajwain supports your joints from the inside out. Let me share the story of Mr. Mahendra, a 68-year-old retired bank clerk from Surat. For years, Mahendra's mornings followed the same routine. He would wake up at 6 a.m., sit on the edge of the bed, and slowly stretch his knees before attempting to stand. His wife, Anjali, often teased him, saying, "You get up like an old typewriter. Click, pause, click, pause." They would laugh about it, but Mahendra knew it was no joke. Walking to the kitchen for his first cup of tea felt like climbing a hill. He tried many things: massage oils, hot water bags, even switching to a softer mattress. They all helped a little, but the stiffness always returned the next day. One Sunday morning, while chatting with his neighbor over the compound wall, Mahendra mentioned his problem. The neighbor, an Ayurvedic therapist, smiled knowingly and said, "You've had the medicine in your kitchen all along." She told him to try this. Take 1/4 teaspoon of ajwain seeds. Lightly roast them on a dry pan until the aroma rises. Chew them slowly after waking up, followed by a few sips of warm water. Do this every morning for at least 2 weeks, she said. It's not magic, it's nature, and nature works best with patience. Mahendra decided to give it a try. The first few days, He didn't feel much change, but on the 5th morning, he noticed something small. He could reach the kitchen without stopping to stretch halfway. By the end of the 2nd week, he realized he was walking to the balcony to water his plants before even thinking about tea. The real test came when his grandson visited and challenged him to a game of cricket in the courtyard. Mahendra didn't run like a teenager, of course, but he could bend, throw, and move without that familiar pulling sensation in his knees. That evening, he told his wife, "Anjali, I think I've got my mornings back." Why it works. The Thymol in Ajwain doesn't give you an instant pain relief hit. Instead, it slowly reduces the silent irritation in the joint tissues, allowing for smoother movement and less morning stiffness. For many elders, that means starting the day with a sense of lightness instead of struggle. Practical tip. If you want to try this yourself, start with just 1/4 teaspoon of lightly roasted Ajwain seeds each morning. Chew them slowly and follow with warm water. Pair it with gentle morning stretches and give it at least 10-14 days to notice the difference. My dear friend, joint comfort is not about finding one magic cure. It's about giving your body the gentle daily support it needs. And sometimes, that support is as small as the pinch of Ajwain sitting quietly in your kitchen. After the age of 60, our digestive system often slows down, quietly, without warning. What you once enjoyed without a second thought, a plate of dal and rice, a couple of chapatis, can now feel heavy, as though it's sitting in your stomach for hours. This isn't just overeating. It's the natural slowing of the gut's movement, meaning food takes longer to travel through your intestines. And when it lingers too long, it can start to ferment, producing gas, pressure, and that uncomfortable bloated feeling. Ajwain seeds have been part of Indian kitchens for centuries, and one of their most trusted benefits is as a digestive aid. Science now explains why. The thymol in Ajwain stimulates the production of digestive juices, helping food break down more efficiently. It also reduces excess fermentation in the gut, meaning less gas and less discomfort. Let me share the story of Mrs. Pushpa, a 70-year-old retired school principal from Udaipur. Pushpa was known for her active lifestyle, morning walks by the lake, organizing bhajan groups, and teaching neighborhood kids English. But over the last 2 years, she'd been quietly avoiding social gatherings, especially in the evenings. Why? Because her stomach would start rumbling after tea-time snacks, and she felt constantly bloated. Sitting cross-legged for long prayers became uncomfortable, and sometimes she even skipped dinner to avoid the heaviness. One afternoon, her daughter-in-law noticed she was skipping yet another satsang meeting. When Pushpa explained, her daughter-in-law smiled and said, "Ma, we're going to try something my nanny used to swear by, Ajwain water." The method was simple. Take 1-2 teaspoon of Ajwain seeds, boil in 1 glass of water for about 5 minutes. Strain and sip slowly, ideally 15-20 minutes before lunch or dinner. Pushpa was skeptical. Can something so simple really make a difference? But she promised to try it for 1 week. The first thing she noticed was subtle. After her 3rd day, she didn't feel that tight belt sensation around her waist after lunch. By the 7th day, she realized she hadn't burped loudly during her afternoon rest, something she had secretly been embarrassed about. Encouraged, she continued. By the end of the 3rd week, Pushpa had gone back to her evening bhajans. "I don't feel like I'm carrying a stone in my stomach anymore," she told her friends, who quickly asked for the recipe. One of them even joked, "Your voice is louder now because your stomach is quieter." Why it works. Drinking ajwain water before a meal prepares the stomach, stimulating digestive enzymes so food moves through the gut more smoothly. Less stagnation means less fermentation, and that means less gas and bloating. Practical tip. For gentle digestion support, boil 1–2 teaspoons of ajwain seeds in a glass of water for 5 minutes. Strain and sip 15–20 minutes before your main meals. Avoid adding sugar. If you want a milder taste, add a pinch of fennel seeds for sweetness. My dear friend, digestion is the root of so much of our well-being. When your stomach feels light, your mood lifts, your energy flows, and your day feels brighter. Sometimes, the path to that lightness begins not with a pill, but with a warm, fragrant glass of ajwain water. Next is blood pressure. High blood pressure often arrives quietly. It doesn't knock loudly at your door with pain or warning. It slips in, whispering through moments of dizziness, a heavy head, or sudden fatigue. Many elders simply accept it as part of aging, but the truth is, even a small rise in blood pressure can, over time, weigh heavily on your heart, brain, and kidneys. What if there was a gentle, natural way, already in your kitchen, to help keep it steady? High blood pressure isn't always loud. It doesn't always shout with headaches or pounding in your temples. For many elders, it whispers, showing up as occasional dizziness, a sense of heaviness in the head, or tiredness that makes afternoon naps a necessity. And because it's often just a little above normal, many people dismiss it as part of aging. But here's the truth, my friend. Even mild increases in blood pressure can, over time, strain your heart, your brain, and your kidneys. That's why it's worth supporting your blood pressure gently before it climbs high enough to demand strong medication. Ajwain offers a simple, natural way to help. Compounds in these seeds can relax the blood vessel walls, improve circulation, and reduce internal tension in the nervous system. This is especially important for elders who may carry unspoken worries or emotional stress that quietly pushes their blood pressure upward. Let me introduce you to Mr. Ashok, a 73-year-old retired postmaster from Nashik. Ashok had what his doctor called borderline hypertension. His readings hovered just above the safe range. Not dangerous enough for medicine, but enough to cause occasional headaches, especially on hot afternoons. He also noticed that when family tensions ran high, he would feel a strange pressure behind his eyes. One day, while visiting his cousin in Pune, Ashok heard about a home routine that had helped many elders in the family. The method was simple. After lunch and dinner, chew 1–2 teaspoons of roasted ajwain seeds mixed with 1–2 teaspoons of roasted jeera, cumin. Follow with a gentle 10-minute walk, preferably in fresh air. Ashok decided to try it. He kept a small steel container with the mix right next to his dining table so he wouldn't forget. The first change he noticed was subtle. Within a week, the heaviness in his head after meals seemed lighter. By the end of the second week, he realized that the dizziness he sometimes felt while standing up had almost disappeared. After a month, his home BP readings, taken with a digital monitor, were consistently within the safe range. But the real difference, Ashok says, was in how he felt. "It's not just the numbers," he told me. "I feel steadier, more grounded. I can play with my granddaughter without worrying I'll get dizzy." Why it works. Ajwain and jeera together improve circulation and digestion. Better digestion means less post-meal sluggishness, and relaxed blood vessels mean a calmer cardiovascular system. Light walking afterward encourages healthy blood flow and helps the body use energy more efficiently. Practical tip. If you want to try this, roast ajwain and jeera in equal amounts until aromatic. Store in a dry jar. After lunch and dinner, take 1–2 teaspoons of the mix and chew slowly, then walk for about 10 minutes at a comfortable pace. If you already take blood pressure medication, continue as prescribed and treat this as gentle additional support, not a replacement. My dear friend, controlling blood pressure isn't just about cutting salt or avoiding stress. It's about building small, sustainable habits that keep your heart, mind, and body working in harmony. Sometimes, those habits are as simple as a pinch of ajwain, a pinch of jeera, and a slow walk under the evening sky. High blood pressure isn't always loud. It doesn't always shout with headaches or pounding in your temples. For many elders, it whispers, showing up as occasional dizziness, a sense of heaviness in the head, or tiredness that makes afternoon naps a necessity. And because it's often just a little above normal, many people dismiss it as part of aging. But here's the truth, my friend. Even mild increases in blood pressure can, over time, strain your heart, your brain, and your kidneys. That's why it's worth supporting your blood pressure gently, before it climbs high enough to demand strong medication. Ajwain offers a simple, natural way to help. Compounds in these seeds can relax the blood vessel walls, improve circulation, and reduce internal tension in the nervous system. This is especially important for elders who may carry unspoken worries or emotional stress that quietly pushes their blood pressure upward. Let me introduce you to Mr. Ashok, a 73-year-old retired postmaster from Nashik. Ashok had what his doctor called borderline hypertension. His readings hovered just above the safe range, not dangerous enough for medicine, but enough to cause occasional headaches, especially on hot afternoons. He also noticed that when family tensions ran high, he would feel a strange pressure behind his eyes. One day, while visiting his cousin in Pune, Ashok heard about a home routine that had helped many elders in the family. The method was simple. After lunch and dinner, chew 1–2 teaspoons of roasted ajwain, seeds mixed with 1–2 teaspoons of roasted jeera, cumin. Follow with a gentle 10-minute walk, preferably in fresh air. Ashok decided to try it. He kept a small steel container with the mix right next to his dining table, so he wouldn't forget. The first change he noticed was subtle. Within a week, the heaviness in his head after meals seemed lighter. By the end of the second week, he realized that the dizziness he sometimes felt while standing up had almost disappeared. After a month, his home BP readings, taken with a digital monitor, were consistently within the safe range. But the real difference, Ashok says, was in how he felt. It's not just the numbers, he told me. I feel steadier, more grounded. I can play with my granddaughter without worrying I'll get dizzy. Why it works. Ajwain and jeera together improve circulation and digestion. Better digestion means less post-meal sluggishness, and relaxed blood vessels mean a calmer cardiovascular system. Light walking afterward encourages healthy blood flow and helps the body use energy more efficiently. Practical tip. If you want to try this, roast ajwain and jeera in equal amounts until aromatic. Store in a dry jar. After lunch and dinner, take 1–2 teaspoons of the mix and chew slowly, then walk for about 10 minutes at a comfortable pace. If you already take blood pressure medication, continue as prescribed and treat this as gentle additional support, not a replacement, my dear friend. Controlling blood pressure isn't just about cutting salt or avoiding stress. It's about building small, sustainable habits that keep your heart, mind, and body working in harmony. Sometimes, Those habits are as simple as a pinch of ajwain, a pinch of jeera, and a slow walk under the evening sky. In the next section, I will help you sleep better, especially for women after menopause. Sleep after 60 is not always the peaceful, uninterrupted rest we imagine. Many elders tell me, "Doctor, I fall asleep easily, but then I wake at 2 or 3 a.m. and just lie there, staring at the ceiling." For women after menopause, this is even more common. Hormonal changes can affect not just mood and energy, but also the gut-brain connection, that invisible two-way communication between your digestive system and your nervous system. When your digestion feels unsettled at night, your mind can also feel restless, leading to shallow or broken sleep. This is where ajwain can be a gentle helper. It works in two important ways. Soothing digestion. Less bloating or gas means fewer nighttime awakenings. Calming the vagus nerve. This key nerve connects the gut to the brain. When it feels at ease, your brain receives the signal that it's safe to relax into deeper rest. Let me tell you about Mrs. Meera, a 66-year-old retired art teacher from Coimbatore. For over 4 years after menopause, Meera struggled with broken sleep. She would fall asleep quickly, but almost every night she would wake up around 3 a.m. Her heart felt slightly unsettled. Her mind would start replaying old conversations, and sometimes her stomach felt tight and uncomfortable. She tried warm milk, meditation, and even avoided TV before bed. Each helped a little, but nothing brought lasting relief. One afternoon, during a casual conversation at her women's club, an old friend mentioned ajwain steam inhalation. Meera was curious. That evening she tried it. Boil a handful of ajwain seeds in water. Lean over the pot, cover your head with a light towel, and inhale the steam for 3-4 minutes. She paired this with chewing 1/4 teaspoon of lightly roasted ajwain seeds after dinner. The first night, she felt relaxed, but still woke up once. By the 4th night, she noticed she was waking later, around 5 a.m., and falling back asleep more easily. By the 10th day, she was sleeping a full 6-7 hours without interruption. The change wasn't just in the number of hours. "It's not only that I'm sleeping longer," Meera told me. "It's that my mind isn't running marathons at night anymore." Her mornings felt lighter, and she even began painting again after years of feeling too tired. Why it works. Ajwain reduces hidden digestive discomfort, which is a common but often overlooked cause of nighttime waking. Its calming effect on the vagus nerve helps regulate both mood and digestion in one loop, making it easier for the body to enter a deeper, more restorative sleep. Practical tip. If you struggle with midnight awakenings, try this routine for 10 days. After dinner, chew 1/4 teaspoon of roasted ajwain seeds slowly. About 20 minutes before bed, inhale steam from ajwain boiled in water. Keep your dinner light and avoid caffeine or heavy desserts in the evening. My dear friend, good sleep is not a luxury. It is the foundation for healing, memory, and emotional balance. And sometimes, the key to unlocking that rest is not in a sleeping pill, but in a pinch of seeds and a pot of warm, fragrant steam. Diabetes is quietly on the rise across India, and many elders are living with what doctors call borderline, or early-stage type 2 diabetes. The numbers on the blood test aren't high enough to demand insulin yet, but they are high enough to cause concern, especially if you start noticing energy drops, trouble focusing, or a constant craving for something sweet. One of the biggest challenges with early diabetes is post-meal blood sugar spikes. After you eat, your blood sugar can rise sharply, leaving you feeling heavy, sleepy, and foggy. Over time, these spikes can slowly damage your nerves, eyes, and kidneys. This is where ajwain can play a small but meaningful role. Compounds in ajwain can slow the breakdown of starch into sugar, meaning your blood sugar rises more gradually after a meal. This not only helps protect your long-term health, but also keeps your energy steadier throughout the day. Let me share the story of Mr. Rajendra, a 65-year-old retired school principal from Indore. Rajendra's fasting sugar hovered around 130 mg/dl, and his post-lunch readings were often close to 190. He wasn't on medication yet. His doctor had advised dietary changes and walking, but he still felt that afternoon crash after meals. Most days, by 3 p.m., he'd be fighting to keep his eyes open, and by evening he had little energy left for his favorite pastime, playing carom with his old friends. One day, his daughter, a nutritionist, suggested a simple addition to his routine: ajwain cinnamon tea. Here's how she made it. Boil 1-2 teaspoons of ajwain seeds and 1 small stick of cinnamon in 1-2 cups of water. Simmer for 5-7 minutes. Strain and drink it after lunch. Rajendra was skeptical. After all, he'd tried plenty of natural tips before. But within the first week he noticed something. His post-lunch fog was less intense. By the end of the month, his post-meal sugar readings had dropped to around 160, and he no longer needed an afternoon nap just to function. Even better, he started walking to the park in the evenings and rejoined his weekend carom games. Why it works. Ajwain slows carbohydrate digestion, while cinnamon helps the body use insulin more effectively. Together, they help keep post-meal blood sugar rises gentler, reducing both immediate fatigue and long-term risk. Another example, in Surat, Mrs. Anita, 67, had a habit of snacking on biscuits with her evening tea. Her sugars would spike and she felt sluggish by dinner time. Replacing the biscuits with a small cup of ajwain water before tea not only reduced her cravings but also kept her energy steadier. "Now I don't feel that sudden drop in the evening," she told her sister, who quickly started the same routine. Practical tip. For early diabetes, try ajwain cinnamon tea after lunch for 2 to 4 weeks. Keep your meals balanced with vegetables, lean protein, and fiber to help this habit work even better. Always check your sugar levels regularly, and if you're already on medication, consult your doctor before making changes. My dear friend, managing blood sugar is not just about avoiding sweets. It's about supporting your body so it can process what you eat more smoothly. Sometimes that support comes not from a pharmacy, but from the spice jar that's been in your kitchen for decades. My dear friend, we have walked together through 5 gentle but powerful ways in which ajwain can support you after the age of 60. Easing joint stiffness, calming digestion, balancing blood pressure, inviting deeper sleep, and helping control blood sugar. And perhaps the most important thing we have discovered is this: healing does not always have to come from big, complicated changes. Sometimes it begins with a single pinch of seeds, a small daily habit, and the willingness to listen to your body with patience. Think about it. Our grandparents and great-grandparents did not have fancy medical equipment, endless bottles of supplements, or internet health tips. What they had was wisdom. The understanding that food and spice are not only for taste, but also for balance, comfort, and prevention. Ajwain was never just a flavor. It was a quiet friend in the kitchen, ready to help whenever the body felt heavy, bloated, restless, or inflamed. In our modern lives, we often overlook these small helpers, rushing instead towards the newest tablet or treatment. But age has its own language, and after 60, your body is not asking for more. It is asking for better. Not stronger pills, but gentler support. Not more stress, but more rhythm and care. Ajwain is not a magic cure, and I will never promise that it will replace your medicines or erase every discomfort. But what it can offer is meaningful support, relief that builds slowly, steadily, without shocking your system. It can help you reclaim small freedoms, the ability to bend in the garden without wincing, to sit through an evening satsang without stomach discomfort, to sleep through the night without waking in frustration, to walk with steady steps, and to enjoy a meal without worrying about what will happen afterward. And the beauty is, it's already in your home. You don't have to travel far, spend a fortune, or wait in a long clinic queue. That little jar sitting between your Jira and Haldi might just hold the key to making your days lighter and your nights calmer. So, how do you begin? Start simply. Choose one of the methods we've discussed today. Ajwain water before meals, roasted ajwain after dinner, ajwain with Jira for circulation, steam inhalation before bed, or ajwain cinnamon tea for sugar control. Give it time, at least 10-14 days. Nature works with patience, not speed. Watch your body. Keep a little notebook and jot down what changes you feel, no matter how small. Remember, your health after 60 is not about chasing perfection. It's about creating steady comfort, one habit at a time. And comfort is powerful. When your body feels supported, your mind is lighter, your energy returns, and you find joy in the little things again. If you've listened this far, I hope you take this as more than just advice. Take it as a reminder that strength still lives inside you and that you can work with your body, not against it. Let Ajwain be one of the many tools you use to care for yourself with the same patience and kindness you would offer to someone you love. So, tonight, as you stand in your kitchen, look again at that tiny jar of seeds. Hold a pinch in your hand, and remember, this is more than a spice. It is a whisper from the generations before you saying, "We have walked this path. We know what helps. Trust us." Let's make our later years not just longer, but lighter, calmer, and truly ours. One pinch at a time.